I want to make a little video real quick, just sitting outside in some peace, listening to God's creation. And I wanted to just address you with this, isn't it interesting that those who have sinned the most, are now preaching repentance to you all. They're no longer living in sin, they're no longer living that way, and they're preaching the hardest to you all. And many of you just mock and laugh them to scorn, but you know, whether they're your friends or family or acquaintances, whatever, you know that person was sinning the most. That you know that they were doing heinous stuff that maybe a lot of you wouldn't even have done. And you're sitting there wanting to be in disbelief, because many of you too, because you're doing the same sin, and if they're calling you out, you don't want to believe that it's that bad. You don't want to believe that you're going to perish in hellfire for it. You don't want to believe you're going to hell. I didn't. Sure. None of us really do. But the truth is once we actually read the Bible, we see that that's exactly where we're going. Living in all types of sin and iniquity. It's not hard to see what God calls evil, sinful, iniquity, transgression is really evil. It's really just not hard to see it. You want me to bring up some statistics? How many people are we losing to drunkenness? How many domestic violence assaults and everything happen a year because of drunkenness? How many car accidents? How many people losing out of their mind doing all types of things? How many broken homes? How many broken marriages because of drunkenness and drug use, marijuana and everything else beyond that? How much sorcery is what that's called do you have to continue to do to see that you're depressed, miserable, going through the worst of life? Not motivated, all those types of things. What's happening is people are trying to blur the lines to make this all be acceptable. None of this stuff's acceptable. Oh, is murder right? No, it's not. Does God call murder wrong? Yes, he does. Loving money, is that right? You see, the love of money is the root of all evil. Where do we get that from? It's from God. It's from the Bible. It's not from your own imagination. It's not from what your opinion is. How many people right now are getting killed for the love of money? How many brothers are killing their brothers? How many brothers are killing their mothers? How many sons are killing their fathers and mothers, and so on? Do I have to keep going? How many people are lying? How many people are stealing? How much damage does all that cause? These are all the things that God has called sin. Rape, sin. All these things are called sin because of the Bible, not because of you, not because of society, and not because of your opinion. We have it on our conscience that we know they're wrong, and that's a God-given conscience. You know why? Because you're actually made in the image of God, son, daughter, sister, brother. You're made in the image of God. And that's why you know these things are wrong. That's why you sit there and you scream for justice when one of your family gets killed or a friend gets killed. That's why. Not because you just, have it within you and came from nowhere and all this nonsense and you're a monkey and all these types of things that's evolved. That's not any of the truth. The truth is Hollywood and the media, they know God exists and they know Satan exists. They know Satan exists. They follow Satan. I almost had all the world. I could have went pro with boxing. They wanted me to sell my soul. I know exactly what Satan will give. I know exactly what he'll do. I know exactly what these celebrities are doing, this witchcraft right in front of your face. All these rituals and all this stuff, they're serving Satan. There's no coincidence why they show you all these demonic things and, upside down crosses and one eye symbolism, doing all this and all these different things. It's not hard to see. It's not just they're being cued. It's not none of the above. It's they're showing you who they pledge allegiance to. And it's not just that. There's so much more. pentagrams and all this rituals in their music videos and all these little symbolisms that are biblical. They're showing you biblical things, sitting on red horses and all this type of stuff. That's not just because it's cute or it looks good. They know biblically what they're doing. They're not stupid. They know that they're warring against God. And that's why they're trying to bring all this confusion and gender identity problems and issues and trying to make you feel like a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man and all this type of stuff. It's all confusion. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you go along with that stuff, you're going to perish in your sin. You're going to die in your sin. Hollywood is made to deceive you. That's Satan, one of Satan's big tools to deceive the whole world. And that's what's happening. It's a big form of his sorcery, just like pharmaceuticals and everything else. You guys better wake up before it's too late. You know, my parents, I just lost both my parents within a year and a half time. You know, it's been probably the worst 2 years of my life. I lost my father to medical malpractice, and they wouldn't give him life-saving treatment, life-saving medicine, life-saving true medicine. And they gave him remdesivir that gave him kidney failure and ended up killing him. Never had any kidney problems in his life. Put him on that ventilator and that killed him. My mother, she had cancer, breast cancer, stage 4. But what actually killed her is chemotherapy. Now that's the truth. I don't care what mainstream news and media and the lies and the science journals and medical nonsense is going to say. I just told you what just happened. This is the truth. And the sad part is, many of you aren't going to believe that. Many people just don't believe when the truth is told to them straight to their face. But I know the truth. I know how my parents died. And this is the problem, is I've gone through the worst 2 years. When you lose your parents, it's completely different than just losing friends. It's completely different than just losing cousins. It's completely different than just losing other family. You know, I never knew how bad it was when people said they lost their father or they lost their mother. Sure. Did I feel bad? Yeah. Did I give my condolences? Yeah. But at the same time, I never really knew the heartache and the heartbreak that comes with that. Because I had mine. You know, when you have your parents, when you have your father, you have your mother, you don't really think of how bad it is for somebody else. I'm here to tell you today, it's the worst. It's the worst losing one parent, let alone both. Guys, I was just reading Ezekiel 18, and I would advise you all to read Ezekiel 18 yourself. And it talks about, the Lord is, telling us, and he tells Ezekiel, but he's telling us that if the righteous turn from their righteousness and go into iniquity, they shall surely die. And he's saying that that's hellfire death. And you will die in your sin. And if the wicked turn from their wicked way and their iniquity and turn to righteousness, they shall surely live. They'll go to heaven. They'll be with the Father in heaven and on the new earth. That's been the truth for generation after generation. God doesn't take pleasure in the death of the wicked. He doesn't want people that are living in sin to continue in sin and die in their sin. Sin literally destroys us. Sin destroys us. It hurts us. And I think you need to come to the reality of the truth. Smoking weed hurts you. Filling your lungs with smoke hurts you. Drunkenness hurts you. It kills you. You could kill yourself. You could I had a buddy that died 2 years ago now from cirrhosis of the liver. No, a year and a half. Yeah, a year and a half in July. Cirrhosis of the liver because he drank too much. 39 years old. I mean, when will you wake up? What is wrong? how much more sin has to destroy you or your loved ones or your family to realize that what God called sin is really sinful, it's really evil, and it's really hurting you and it's destroying you? How much? What's it going to take? You might just end up dying and perishing in hell. This could be your final warning. Honestly, this could be your final warning. I'm going to leave it there. God bless you. Read Ezekiel 18.